Hello there, Escambia County administrators. Let's talk today about student groups, how to create them, use those groups to gather a wealth of information about your students, and then quickly communicate with students and their primary contacts. So join me and the rest of the student data team as we take you through student groups in focus. When you're on your portal screen, you're going to come over here to your students, and then you're going to come down to setup, and you're going to choose student groups. Now, I want you to notice that when you get to this screen, it does default to My Groups. These are the groups that you have created. If you don't have anything there yet, it's because you haven't created any groups. Now, there is another tab that's called All Groups. Clicking that tab is going to bring up student groups that have been created by other users in the district. Now, it's important to know using these student groups to find information about your students is not necessarily recommended because you don't know the search criteria that they've assigned in their saved search to this particular group. So unless you've created it or you have specific knowledge about that search criteria, it's not recommended to use a saved group by another user unless you've been instructed to do so. Back on the My Groups tab, we're going to go through and demonstrate creating a group. Now, you could create a specific group that you're looking for, or you could create a generalized group. So for my demonstration, I'm just going to make a general group, and then I'm going to assign different saved searches so that I can pull different information for the students that are at my school. And here I have assigned users that I may want to assign this to, but for my demonstration, I'm going to assign it to myself. For schools, this is only going to default to mine. I am not clicking default search. We do not want to click this. I can decide if I want to make it visible to certain profiles. You can create dynamic or custom groups. Dynamic groups mean that as students meet or exceed your criteria, they will automatically leave or enter your report. Custom groups will not do that. You could potentially assign this to only students in a grade level that it's at your school. So that's up to you. Again, that comes down to what kind of criteria you would like to add to your search. I'm going to leave it at all. I'm going to leave my last names at all, but you could choose particular letters. Now, this assigned saved search feature is actually a multitasking tool because I've made a generalized student group. I have multiple saved searches with different criteria. For example, I may want to know my students that don't have access for the library, that are scheduled with an out-of-field teacher, or that maybe have failing grades in a teacher's gradebook for quarter one. So depending on what I want, the same group of students, I can apply my saved search and I'm going to get different students based on these criteria. So I'm going to make my selection here. I'm going to add my start date, and I'm going to add an end date for this particular student group. Once I add those dates and click enter, you're going to see this line, it's turning yellow, and then I'm going to come to the top and I'm going to click my red save button. And then I'm going to see my new student group here in my list. Clicking that blue view button is going to pull those students from that assigned saved search. When your screen loads, you're going to see those students, in this case with report card grades in quarter one grade books that are Fs. I could click show courses and it's going to give me their exact grade and that teacher's name. Another multitasking tip would be to click this message button. When I do that, it's going to populate only these students into my communication module. And then I have some choices I can make from there. I could send a message to just these students. I could send it to the students and their primary contacts, or just their primary contacts, or maybe I want to say something to the teachers of these students. Either way, Focus has made it easy for me to create a student group, to search some criteria, and communicate. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to check out our recommended video that's here on the side and fill out our content request form so that we continue making videos that are just for you, because that is a Byte of Tech.